Oh, God!
Welcome into Popcorn and Beers. We've got your butter on top for the week and your drunk classic. Let's go. Welcome back to your cousin's, brother's, mother's favorite review show. This is Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. Welcome in, yeah. Is that greatness? Is that greatness? Is that what you're about to say? How did they make chocolate and water taste so good? Wait, Joker Folie, Deux? However you pronounce it. I don't speak French, as you saw from my video that we posted after I just watched this. And, I mean, I'm not going to hate on it like a lot of the critics are doing. It was not a complete musical. Like, I thought it might be a complete musical, and that's not my thing. And many have said it's a hole in my game, that I don't like musicals. I don't get, like, bounding into sporadic singing. It's not something I can relate to. It's not something I understand. It's just weird to me, and in this, they utilize this to simulate psychosis, right? What goes on in the mind of a psycho? Apparently, it's a sing-along. And I don't think it worked. I think they went for something here, and I wasn't feeling it. Apparently, a lot of other critics aren't feeling it. I thought that Joaquin Phoenix does, okay. I think that they're blending this into the Matt Reeves Batman universe, and you'll see that in the final sequence, in the very final scene, why I believe that. Jordan, we could talk offline about why I think they're blending it into the Matt Reeves Batman.
I get it.
It starts with a little Peter Pan action, right? We get a little Peter Pan thing going on with the Joker, and you'll know what I mean when you see it. With a cartoon, it's definitely the opening of Peter Pan, and that's how they open Joker Part 2. Is with almost the same cartoon with some changes, right? They paraphrase it a little bit, as you see in Peter Pan. And it was going well. The movie was going well, and then the musical started. And I am immediately taken out of it. Out of what is, a good performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Could he be the first ever actor to win 2 Oscars for portraying the same character? I don't think that's ever been done.
It's possible.
And the answer is no, because the musical just immediately kills it. Mm-hmm. And it's bad, and bring back his Johnny Cash voice, because this Joker voice was god-awful. I think they lean so far into certain aspects of the Joker's personality, or Arthur Fleck's personality, that it takes away from the soul of what the Joker movie could be. And because of that taking from the soul, and trying so hard to embrace the Harley Quinn character, who it just didn't work. Also, that was another character, it didn't work. They didn't have good chemistry on screen. It was awkward at times. I'm going to go ahead and give this a popcorn and 1 from me again. This is Joker Folie Deux. And the reason I give it a popcorn and 1 is, if you remove some of the forced chemistry between Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, and you remove the sing-along, and you insert a tad more Joker personality, and take out Arthur Fleck personality, you might have a Poppin' 2, Poppin' 3 movie. But because those elements are not there, it is a Poppin' 1. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had very low expectations walking into this. Okay. I thought I was going to be miserable the entire film, and I was not miserable the entire film. Go ahead, John.
I wasn't miserable.
Yeah, if you just
What a low bar. That's the bar for the movie. Yeah. I wasn't miserable.
If you just remove half of the movie, it's a popcorn and 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like you said, pretty much. Yeah, the target audience for this is not you and me and you and you. It's actually, like the Academy, film critics.
It really was. They shot for it.
Yeah. I didn't get the feeling that there was any real concrete plot, or the thing was that, like, I don't know if they were trying to use the music to progress anything, but I don't feel like the music added any element other than, showing maybe what's going on inside his mind, that he's crazy. But if that's the case, we get it after, like, the second song and dance. There's, There's like 10 throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And they insert it right at the moment where it's like this very kind of high tension, kind of uneasy feeling moment. Like something is building up and you're like, oh boy, this is getting good. And then they break into song and dance and just disrupt everything, just derails everything. Yeah.
I think I don't know exactly, but I'm gonna say if I'm a imaginary producer, I'm just guessing. If you don't want a full-on musical, you just want musicality in your movie. What you got to do is have a little overture, a song, the big song, a song that gets interrupted by a fight, and then an outro, and that's it. So really, you only have like 2.5 songs. You don't need more than that.
Yeah, there are no songs that get interrupted by fights. You are forced to suffer through entire songs.
Yeah, people in the theater, which, you know, it wasn't that packed of a theater for Joker opening night.
It was a bomb. It bombed.
I think a lot of people had a similar feeling, you know, going into this. When I heard the announcement of this and the idea that it was going to be some sort of musical, I was like, oh my God, this is a tragedy. Like, this is going to be so bad.
Look what they did to my boy.
Yeah, this is going to be so bad. But then I got a little bit optimistic leading up to this release. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. It's going to be fine.
How bad could it possibly be?
I like Gaga.
I like Joaquin. He's
I like
good
Gaga.
guy.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, no, it was not good. It was just not good. You know, people in the theater were laughing at inappropriate times. Like, just throughout the movie, people would just start laughing at like.
Is it because Arthur Fleck didn't know how to have sex? Did everyone laugh at that? Because that was kind of
yeah.
funny.
Oh God.
Awkward. Yes.
Scene too?
There is a sex scene. I thought, like, when they were actually, like, some of the dark humor in it, though, like Joaquin's dialogue. Yes, there was a very, very awkward, weird sex scene in it. I need you to do it. Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't like that.
I give it a popcorn and 1. The dark humor is good, though. I did find some of it pretty good. But popcorn and 1.
Yeah, I mean, and wait till you meet Puddles, okay? Wait till you meet Puddles. Like, that'll really take you out of the movie.
Well, you've already met Puddles in the first one.
You
but
did.
Yes. Wait till you get his scene.
And then the fact that anyway, if you've seen some of the deleted scenes from this film, you would think, man, if you just put that deleted scene in there, that would have been a phenomenal scene to include. They didn't.
Don't start with the Snyderverse 4.5-hour extended cut crap.
I think this was the director's fault, but I think that I saw some deleted scenes and some stuff they did for press, and I was like, that would have been awesome. Just like it would have been awesome if Josh gave us a better B movie as his drunk classic, but he didn't.
Oh, no.
He gave us Bubba Hotep.
Hold on now. Bubba Hotep, man. I think it's a movie that everyone has at least heard in a dream once. Like, have you seen Bubba Hotep? You know, at a party or whatever. Like, everyone's... Anyway, it's the B movie, dude. The B movie, dude. But it's Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell. It is a really cheap monster makeup scenario. Stupid premise. Just being silly. I thought it was a silly movie, and it was fun. It was like the giant bug thing. Anyway, I don't know.
It's a scarab.
The scarab,
giant scarab.
The whole thing was it's just so silly, but I think it's just like I smile at it the whole time. I don't know why the movie entertains me, but it does. So I give it a popcorn, dude. I don't know. As Elvis, but is he really Elvis? You think he is, and his best friend is JFK, and no, RFK? I don't know which one.
I think it's JFK.
But he's black, and then there's a mummy, and the mummy is the mummy is sucking the souls out of elderly people's buttholes at night, and Elvis has to stop the mummy.
Wait, is that what was happening in this movie?
Yeah, dude.
Yo, the blueberry
also, there's
pie.
a growth on his penis. Little fun fact, you watch it on Prime, you get the trivia. Bruce Campbell got the script, and the first thing he says when he called him back, he says, "Do we ever show the penis?" That was pretty important information. Yeah, it's a popcorn movie. It's silly. It's Elvis versus the mummy in the retirement home. It's bad. But it's just pleasant to me. It makes me giggle sometimes. No particular place. There's not like good jokes per se. I liked all the interactions with Elvis and JFK. No, I just love all the interactions. I think that's the main reason I watched the movie. Popcorn.
All right, yo, the Bubba Hotep is dressed like a tomato can character used to get bad wrestlers over the top, right? In road shows everywhere. Like, he's the wrestler that has the record of, like, 0 and 150 because he's just out there to get beat up by a wrestler they're trying to get over the top. That's what Bubba Hotep's costume looks like. The funniest scene, honestly, in the whole movie is when he finally gets a boner. When he, that was the only scene where I laughed out loud, when he gives her, like, the side smile. Like, he looks her dead in the eyes and, like, gives her a side smile. And then, how honestly, dare he?
Truly good acting. Like, the face work he did at that last moment when he, like, takes one last peek at it. All the emotions that went through his face. Honestly, great acting. Bruce Campbell's underrated as an actor because he's so silly.
But you get the nurse, and how dare he yell at that beautiful woman who's had to rub, like, gel on his boil-infested pecker.
But why'd she have to use so much, though?
You know, so it doesn't touch her hands. Like, if you use enough goop, it's like gloves, right?
Like double gloves.
I don't know. And then the daughter sees him as an emotionless worm, just lying there unable to do anything. She didn't even care that he could see her pain. Like, that was kind of funny. I don't know if that flies today, but that was kind of funny. And I mean, like, golly, if that's what old age is going to be, I'm good, man. But the blueberry pie had me. That was pretty funny. You mentioned the soul sucking and the My Scooter stuff. That was great. Got it lubed up and ready to go for tonight with his My Scooter JFK. All in all, it was you got to be in a place to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be mentally in a place. You got to have
the bushes at me, and I just had to put it on you guys.
You got to have people around you that are really excited to watch it, so you get that transitive property excitement going on, where they're so excited that you get excited to see it, and then you fall into their universe.
In the land of cult classics, this is a B movie in that, you know what I mean? Like, of the B movies, it's a B movie.
Jordan, what did you think? Oh, popcorn.
Popcorn, yeah, it's a popcorn as well. I love Bruce Campbell. I really do. I love his sense of humor and his timing and everything. And, you know, honestly, damn Elvis to hell. Like, I'm glad anything that takes the time and and resources and energy to make a mockery of Elvis, I respect that. I admire that a lot. There's a really good line in there where, he talks about getting older, and it sucks. And he says, you know, yeah, you get older, and everything you do is either worthless or sadly amusing. I was like, yeah, that's a good line. All the interactions with the nurse are hilarious. Anytime she would come in the picture, I'd be like, oh my god, something uncomfortable, a little inappropriate, but funny is going to happen here.
What about, like, in the beginning when that guy coughs to death?
What does he do? He's like down to the bed. He's like,
40 minutes into this movie, you're like, what the hell is going on? And that doesn't change.
Nothing changes.
I was expecting him to get out of the bed, Jordan, for like 40 minutes. A lady steals glasses off of a woman in an iron lung.
You're like, what the hell? Where's this movie going? I like the final showdown was hilarious. He's fighting them in the little scooter. And he's fighting the mummy guy, and there's captions. They give the mummy these really badly animated captions that, like, fly across the screen and stuff. And it was hilarious, though. The end, it totally caught me off guard. The suck the dog D of Anubis. I was like, yeah, that was good. That got me. There's always something throughout this movie, like every 20 minutes or so, that was just like, you got a little giggle out of it. You're like, what the hell is that? And it pulls you a little bit, keeps you engaged just enough to get through the movie. It's a popcorn, though.
It's pops.
Josh likes to just, like, throw some shit sometimes out there. Just to gauge a reaction.
My car and stuff. No, I like a weird movie, and I think that it's spooky. As far as classics go, it's fun, at least. I mean, nobody was like, oh, angry you had to see it.
Jordan's definitely thrown out some clunkers. Like, Jordan has...
Are you serial?
Lucas is bad. right?
Lucas
Rocky
was
3 is
bad.
great, and I will fight you. But Lucas is probably the
Unnecessary
worst one.
roughness was bad.
Man, necessary roughness was bad. That's true.
That's why we have this avenue. It's
That
forcing
was-
someone to watch.
There was some bad ones, I guess. I forgot about necessary roughness. That's how bad it was. I had to get you guys off the scent of football season starting up movie, you know? I had to throw you off. Anyway, let's get into what we were watching. And I decided to throw on Kevin Costner's Passion Project, which he should have kept his passion in his pants. Because this was terrible. It was 3 hours of no storyline all over the place. All over the plat. It should have been on a plate so I could eat it and shit it out. It was so bad. It was so bad. Anyway, I don't think we'll ever see its conclusion. And watching this movie, you can clearly see why it was not well received as a film. That's literally all over the place. Try and attack a Western from every single possible angle and then fail at it over and over. No character in this film gets their story completed. There are so many plot holes. You don't even know where the timeline is. They jump, they go back, then they're here, then they're there. Where's this kid? Who is he? I already forgot. The film's 3 hours long. I didn't form an attachment to him. He was probably in a scene for 2 minutes. How do you make a movie that lasts 3 hours and say nothing?
And it's supposed to be like chapter 1, right? It's supposed to be like a
It is chapter 1.
Yeah.
It is chapter 1. Kevin Costner thought he was going to make Lonesome Dove, and he made Lonesome Dud. It was so terrible. What is it like? But I don't know what Kevin Costner was thinking. He sank millions of dollars of his own money into this, and there's no story. It's so bad.
He left Yellowstone to pursue this.
For this, it's just, I don't know what he was thinking. He cried at Sundance when he released it. Oh. I don't get it. It got a standing ovation, and why? Because it was Kevin Costner. Go blow a goat. Like, if a movie's bad, it's bad. It's a bad movie. Like, I'm so sick of this. I'm gonna like a film because I'm an artist and I'm supposed to. No! If it's bad, it's bad. Like, I saw the TV Glow. I had a long conversation with somebody, and it ended with me saying, I'm not gonna like a movie just because I'm supposed to. If it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. Yeah, dude, I don't care that this director is gonna be great. You're not gonna force me to like it because of the times we're in. If it's bad, it's bad. And I'm not gonna cheer because it's Kevin Costner. This film was ass. Yeah. Alright.
Ass.
It didn't get a popcorn. Sorry, it got ass. But
Moby Dick phenomenon here, where like you have to say it's cool just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird world we're living in right now where I'm forced to say something is good. Anyway, Jordan, what were you watching?
Oh, yes, sir. I finished Perfect Couple. Finished Perfect Couple. You reviewed it a couple weeks ago, I believe. And, I still like it. I liked it. I wasn't... I didn't feel...
What a contrarian you are.
I didn't feel, like I was... anything was taken from me at the end of this. I was like, I enjoyed this ride. It did not land the best way possible.
Dakota was good.
Yes. It was very AI heavy. Everything that wasn't like key to pushing the plot was very just stupid. Like very AI written, very just dumb. Yeah, I agree with you. These characters have the worst names possible, and I think that's supposed to help you, form this dislike for these snobby rich people. Like their names are like the three of the top named people in the show: Shooter, Tag, and Greer. Like just the most abominable names for people.
Obnoxious, right?
Yeah.
Obnoxious names on punchable faces.
Exactly.
Brother cousins.
Yeah. It does keep you guessing all the way to the end. But the final reveal of the perp, and you get like 6 final reveals of who they believe the perp is going to be just in the final episode. They're like, it's this guy, and then they build up this evidence, and then it falls apart. Oh no, it's this guy, and then they build up evidence, and fall, like literally 6 times in the final episode. When you get that final reveal, and you think about it, there is no real solid physical evidence that links this person to the crime.
You almost said it! You almost said who it was! It's how passionate you were. You were ready to spoil the shit out of that show.
There is no physical evidence. Like, maybe they're arrested and they go to trial, but that person is not going to be convicted. They shouldn't be unless their entire family turns on them, which they're rich people, so they won't, because they all kind of had a hand in it. So, really.
Oh, that you just remind me. That's another character that we never get real good backstory on. Nicole Kidman's brother. You never really get a decent backstory. It's just, he's there, he does a thing, and he's gone. What?
Yeah. Rich people do things, and don't worry about it. You don't got to worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You peon.
You peon.
I really enjoyed this show. I want to give it a popcorn and 2. I want to sneak it into a popcorn and 2.
Okay, fine. I strongly disagree, as I gave it a popcorn. The only reason to not skip this show for me is the new Zooey Deschanel, who is the lead actress in this one. I don't know her actual name, but she kind of reminds me of Zooey Deschanel a little bit. And then Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber. Like, that's it. That's it. That's what we have in this show.
I thought the idiot brother was funny.
Tag?
No. The idiot brother. His name's not Tag. Tag is the dad. Tag is Liev
Oh,
Schreiber.
you're right.
Yeah. The French lady.
Oh, she was great.
Her deal?
She was fantastic. She's my favorite character.
She looks like a alien.
You know why? Because she was on that Sabrina Carpenter, Jordan. Her give a bleeps were on vacation. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Josh, really quick before you jump in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to review Salem's Lot from HBO. And this is a remake of a famous vampire movie and a famous book by Stephen King. Yep. All right? And it was bad. It was just as bad as the first time. Graphics didn't get better. Graphics were still just as bad. Plot points were still just as bad. I mean, you can improve it. It's allowed. You're allowed to improve it if you own the rights to it now. Why is your first reaction when you find out that somebody you care about in your town's a vampire to go to the author that just arrived? That's weird. That's a weird reaction. I wouldn't do that. How did you know it was a vampire right away, Teach? You have experience with vampires? What is your deal? That's odd. You're just like, oh, this dude's clearly a vampire. Let me go talk to the author that just arrived 2 days ago. Also, like he points out that, of course you're suspicious. You just got here and now all of our kids are missing. But nobody inspects it. Nobody acts on that hunch. That's crazy. The only excuse is because he has a alibi of the most beautiful girl in town. Go ahead, Jordan.
Sometimes you can just tell. I mean, look, there's a place that you can go to and they all hang out. It's called Hot Topic. And you walk in there and you will see a number of vampires walking around.
I think so. Maybe. Yeah. I just know if I ever knew somebody was a vampire, I would be like, who's an author? Is there an author here? I need a new author in town to come verify that this is... Bring your girlfriend, too. She can come. I don't care. We just need to see if this is a vampire. The graphics were comically bad. Real bad. The flight was bad of the vampires. The eyes, the movements, the makeup on the head vampire, Barlow. Barlow, I think is his name. Anyway, I think it's Barlow. That was the name of my first dog. Anyway... It was a popcorn. It did not do it for me. I was actually kind of excited to see it. I thought they would do a new spin on a classic, and they did not. They were just like, hey, shit worked before. Let's make it again. It did not.
That makes me sad.
It did not work.
I'm really
All right.
excited to watch that.
Well, I mean, you might have a different opinion. You're our horror aficionado. Just like I'm our cheddar aficionado, right? I love cheesy action. So, Josh...
I thought we were about to fight about who likes cheese more.
Don't get him started on that Parmesan oregano.
Mustard, Gouda.
All right, Josh, speaking of how much you like cheese, what movies were you watching this week?
I watched something that was full of cheese, dog. The cheese, bro. A little movie called Gentlemen Broncos. It stars the kid from Forbidden Kingdom, he was in the Z-Boys movie where he got in a wheelchair.
Oh, that guy?
The real nice guy kid face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so he's in it. I mean, he did okay, but his character was just like a nothing character. And then his mom is Jennifer Coolidge. His mom's Jennifer Coolidge. And then Sam Rockwell's in this. He plays the character that the kid is writing about. So anyway, this is a movie by, I think his name's Jared Hess, the guy who did Nacho and Napoleon Dynamite. So this is exactly as weird as you think it is. It is weird, dude, and it's not like great weird actually. But it is. It's a bad movie, but I really thought it had such, just like he always seems to have. There's a charm that makes you really like. Do I need to watch this one more time?
Napoleon
just to make sure?
Dynamite and those movies are like you're kind of watching it, and then 3/4 of the way through, you're like, do I like this? But you're saying this one was more like 3/4 of the way through. You're like, do I not like this? Do I not like this?
Yeah.
I was supposed to like this.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know it was by him. All I know is I saw a clip from YouTube with Sam Rockwell playing the character. So, the kid writes sci-fi, and it's really bad sci-fi. And Sam Rockwell plays the space ranger guy who fights the bad guys and gets the girl and stuff. And so he's like the big manly dude. But then Jermaine Clemens, the actor, plays.
I've definitely seen this.
Okay.
I just don't remember it.
He plays a famous author who steals the kid's thing but rewrites it. So then it changes.
Yep, definitely seen this.
Sam Rockwell changes to like a really effeminate cyber disco type of character. So you get to see Sam Rockwell play two different characters, and I don't know, and it's got the guy Esqueleto from Nacho Libre.
Okay.
He has his mouth like, and he's like that. The movie's so weird, dude. I give it a popcorn and 1, I think.
Popcorn and 1. Well, I wrapped up Josh's least favorite show, apparently, as we found out in the production meeting. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Well, yeah.
And this is the season to watch.
Is it?
All right, it's caught up a little bit. I think we get a little bit more explanation for the way that things are, why the way that things are the way they are. I think I said that right. Sure. And you get more Sauron. Finally, we were all like, give me Sauron. And now we find out... That's how he says it, too. Actually, with the tongue movement and everything. It's really interesting. But we get some Ganondorf, and we've learned why he got his name and how he got his name. What's that?
His name is Gerber.
Yeah, Gerber baby. And he wears a red diaper or a red rope, white rope. I don't know. So, anyway, so the stains don't show. This TV show, 8 episodes, it's worth it. It gets a lot better. It moves along the story, and we finally get some pretty epic battles. In fact, we get 3 episodes worth of epic battles, which is what we were asking for the whole time. And we get some new creatures. We start to learn why the dwarves are considered greedy creatures in the movies, in The Hobbit, in The Fellowship of the Ring. It reveals that answer to you, and you learn a lot about how all the stereotypes of the humans and the elves and the dwarves come to be, and you get that with a lot of action involved. Finally, what we were waiting for. I'm not going to say there's not some throwaway episodes that give, like, exposition, storylines. There are a couple of those, but for the most part, they cleaned a lot of that up in Season 2. They gave the people what they wanted. We got some orc and elf fights. We still don't have some great dwarf fights yet, but those are coming in Season 3. You could tell it's about to happen. So overall, I gave this season a pop and 2, oddly enough. I thought that they did a great job giving us what we wanted. Give the people what they want. Anyway, Jordan. What's that?
I said R.I.P. that show.
Well, Amazon came out and said it's going to run for 5 seasons as it was originally planned.
No. I'm talking about Jalen and Jacoby.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
No, but this is definitely next on my docket of shows to watch. Rings of Power. Yeah. So.
All right, you'll get through it on your drive. Yeah. On your drive up to Oregon, that's about an 8-hour drive, right? So.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Oh man, I watched a classic movie. It's very cultural. Okay. I have been called by my Mexican side, my uncles, forever. My entire life have called me Miklo.
My Mexican side.
Yes. They have called me Miklo for my entire life, and now I understand why. This movie came out in 1993. It is a...
Really? I thought it was way older than that.
So did I. I just rewatched it too.
It is a Mexican, Latin American crime drama that takes place in East LA mostly.
Very Shakespearean.
Yes, it's very Shakespearean.
Yeah, actually.
It tells the story of 3 family members, 3 cousins, half-brothers, whatever, right? They're related in some way. And their lives take very different paths. right? They start in this little small town gang, and their lives, something major event happens and spins their lives off in 3 different directions, but ends up bringing them together, but apart, all those jewels. The main character, Miklo, he is supposed to be 18 years old in this movie. He looks every bit of like 35.
He's 18 by Greece standards, Jordan. They were using the Greece timeline.
Exactly. He's supposed to be a Mexican, half white dude. He has blonde hair, blue eyes. He looks no part of being Mexican
looks
whatsoever.
whiter than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his accent, like, he really pours it on thick to really give you that, like, no, I look like a straight up white dude, but I am half Mexican.
I had a long time, carnal.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is not a made up. That is almost a direct quote from the movie. There's a lot of
forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of recognizable faces. It's a really heartbreaking, kind of tragic movie.
Yeah,
it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's Benjamin Bratt.
It does. A lot of faces. Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Just everybody. You recognize some faces throughout this movie.
Billy Bob Thornton's in it.
Yep. He plays a Nazi. Yes, an Aryan Brotherhood guy. It's cheesy, but it's very mostly cheesy, but it does have its strong, convincing acting moments.
There's realness to it that keeps you in.
It's 3 hours long. That's why it's so long. When we were talking about it, we're like, why it's so long?
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
The guy that plays Mikolo, do you want to know his real name?
What?
Damien Chapa.
Damien Chapa.
Chapa.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it was a little bit based on his actual life and his actual feelings growing up. But it has the acting is 80s. It's cheesy, but sometimes they really nail those really pivotal scenes that they got to get to. They really make it convincing and good. There's a great twist there at the end. How kind of all of it plays out. You get like maybe a few too many endings. Like you think the movie is ending, and then it keeps dragging on
forever,
just a little bit longer. Yeah. I give this a popcorn and 2 though. This is a very good, you must see kind of movie.
Yeah, man, I give the Latino epic popcorn and 2.
Got to. Didn't go 3. It's very cheesy. Some of the acting and writing is bad, but it's too long. Popcorn.
It is a classic. You're not wrong. It is a classic. I watched a show by Ryan Murphy. If you don't know him, like American Horror Story guy, right? I think he also did Dahmer, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
But this is Monsters, the story of Lyle and Eric Menendez. If you're not familiar, in the late 80s, early 90s, they were on trial for murdering their parents with shotguns. And it is cringy throughout the whole show. I think I'm going to give it a popcorn 1 based on the actual content of the show. The story is definitely a popcorn 2. It's a very interesting story that, we should be aware of. Don't spoil your kids, man. Like, don't do it. But you don't really know what's real and what's not here. I'm saying that's the message.
Also, don't sexually assault your kids.
Do we know that happened? There's no proof. Like, this show really, you have to decide what side of the fence you're on. They could have sexually assaulted each other, according to this script. We don't really know. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm not saying it did. I'm saying, hey, I'm going to be right down the middle on this on my review. It leaves you wondering what the hell's going on, but also there's a lot. There's a lot here. There's a lot of meat on the bone, especially the way they dig into this trial. Netflix is going to eat this up. They're going to make a documentary now. This is not a documentary. This is like a biopic, right?
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was just okay, but they're idiots. They're sociopaths. They make so many mistakes, especially Lyle Menendez, in telling an author his whole story, allowing her to record him, and then he does that before the trial, after the mistrial. So she writes a book before they ever get there. Yeah, there was a lot going on in this TV show. Yeah, and I'm familiar with this prior to this, but there was a lot of talk about this being really great on Netflix, and it just happened to be just okay. Like, I was familiar with this story prior to this. I'd already watched, like, a biopic. There's been a few on the Menendez murders, the Menendez brothers. I can't remember, is it Wayne's World? Or, like, Ace Ventura, the Cable Guy, where they keep referencing, like, there was a comedy in the 90s where they keep referencing the Menendez brothers, and I think it was the Cable Guy. I do, and I think the Menendez brothers are played by Ben Stiller in it. But anyway, it's a Popcorn in 2. If you don't know the story, they are really capitalizing on America's fixation with murder porn right now.
Yeah, dude. So sick of this crap.
I am too, but I had to watch it because so many people were saying how great it was, and it was fine. I don't think it was as great as people were saying it was. I don't know that Javier Bardem, of course, is great. He's phenomenal, but what is he bad in? I defy you. Okay, he was fantastic.
I defy
Outside
you.
of that, Josh, what else were you watching? Again, that was Monsters, the story of Lyle and Eric Menendez. Josh?
Monsters. The only thing else I watched was I got to go to the theaters because Studio Ghibli is so celebrated at this one particular Cinemark in Tulsa. They do, like, once a month they show an old Miyazaki film, which is Studio Ghibli, which is the most successful animation studio in Japan, perhaps even the world, besides Disney, of course, and maybe something else. But they did Spirited Away, blah, 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 all these other movies. I watched Howl's Moving Castle. I had never seen it before. It's one of the classics. It's one of the biggest animated films ever. It's very good. It was dubbed pretty well. Christian Bale plays the lead male. He's not the lead. He's not the main lead, but a lot of other names. But, like my opinion, like all Studio Ghibli films, pretty much, it's so well made, animation-wise, and, like, the storyboards and the life they put into this animated world, so creatively created. Let's say that more. It's so well done that you don't really care that you don't quite get it. You know what I mean? Because it's Japanese, and Hayao Miyazaki leans very heavily into Japanese lore and myths and things that I don't really know anything about, and they have different story structure per se. And so, like, a lot of, like, this movie, like, kind of didn't make a lot of sense. I get it, but, like, I was like, what? But I want to watch it again, and I wouldn't mind if it was soon, because, like, it's not just that it's hand-drawn. They did, like, techniques, and you're like, how did they do that? I mean, it's 2005, I think. And that's not like, there's definitely CG in films now, and they use some CG, but, like, you can tell there's quite a bit of it that's like, I don't know how they made the camera do this 360-degree angle, and it's clearly hand-drawn every frame, and it's, like, absolutely beautiful. And then the world they create, it's not quite Earth, it's like fake Earth, fantasy land, but they have airplanes that are, like, look like dragonflies, and it's hard to describe the detail and the creative, it's just like eye candy, dude. It's so...
I'm excited. You're excited right now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm really loving this enthusiasm. I really am.
Like, even like in every one of the movies that they make, they put so much life into every scene. Like, there's always cooking. There's always a part in every movie where someone's cooking, and they make you watch these people, like, fry eggs, and you're like, man, that's pretty. You know what I mean?
I was so close to making an off-color joke, and I'm so happy I didn't. Tell me more about these people's eggs.
Yeah, so beautiful film. I want to watch it again. The storyline doesn't quite make sense, but you don't really care. Like, it's taking you to the next scene, which is beautiful, and that's what it's about. Anyway, Popcorn in 2.
Nice. Okay, maybe it's one of those movies where you're not supposed to fully understand it because they want you to watch it a couple times. Yep. They don't want you to just digest it in one sitting. I mean,
it's also refreshing in a world of cinema where they handhold everything, dude. Like, they have to over describe, like, oh, and then his weakness, and, like, oh, if we get the key, then we'll have the power to destroy the demon, but we can't do that until 7 o'clock tonight. You know what I mean? Like, this leaves a lot. There's no hand-holding. You just kind of have to just go along for the ride. Figure it out.
Didn't you make us watch a drunk classic where she literally says HTTP ... Spoon feeding into it. Anyway, yeah, the Cable Guy was the right movie where Ben Stiller played the Menendez brothers. I distinctly remembered that from my childhood. All right, Jordan, what was the last film you saw this week?
It's called A Classic Horror Story. That is the name of the movie, A Classic Horror Story, on Netflix. This came out a couple years ago. And look, it's October, as everybody has claimed. I am the horror aficionado, so I'm going to watch some horror movies for better or for worse in October specifically. So I went back on my list, very, very deep on my Netflix list, and I was like, let me knock this one out. It's an Italian film, dubbed in English, but some characters, even the dub has like an accent, and others don't. It's weird. So they're like speaking Italian, and it's dubbed over, but the voice is in English, and it sounds like a California kind of, yeah. It's weird. It's hard to wrap your mind around watching it at first. It's a little artsy. The score for this movie is excellent. It's like the one thing that really shines throughout this movie. The whole kind of plot is that, like, I'm going to just a little spoil it a bit here. The director, he tricks these people into making like a horror film, but it's like a real snuff film, but the audience isn't supposed to know that. The audience is supposed to think that these are actors. And his whole rap is that people in Italy don't like horror films. So he's trying to make the best horror film of all time to make Italian people appreciate horror the way he does. Right. If you pay attention really, really, really hard, that is the plot that you can make out of this movie.
3 realies.
Yeah. The characters do things for no reason, like more than your standard cheesy horror movie. They just make decisions that are just like, why? What? Off the wall stuff. It's really dumb. I'm gonna skip that. It's gory torture porn. Luckily, at some moments, they leave a little to the imagination, like with the torture and stuff going on, which makes it like 10 times more scary. So like not actually see it, but to hear the reaction of the people.
Absolutely. If you do that right, it's better.
Yeah, that is much more of a winning formula than just people. If you want to see just people being ripped apart and mutilated, like you're not there for entertainment. You're a weirdo. Like you need help. It has some decent plot points sprinkled.
We're not kink shaming.
No, yeah, we are. No. If you want to see people just mutilated, no. Has some decent plot points, but I almost wanted to give this the benefit of the doubt. Like, this is a kind of a foreign movie. It's low budget. I wanted to stick it in that genre and give it a popcorn and 1, but it's a popcorn movie. I couldn't do it. It's a popcorn.
And that was a classic horror story on Netflix. I, too, dug into my Netflix bag, and let me just read you my review of Miller's Girl, starring Jenna Ortega and that white dude from Black Panther. All right, so what we saw, the beginning quote, "I suppose even graveyards grow flowers." I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was a very lovely quote. Anywhere, this movie tells a tale that blurs the line between who is the hero and who is the villain. It's a story that will leave sane human beings skin crawling. It provides more uncomfortable moments than moments that should be admired. Overall, the movie rewards deception and paints a chess move story that you have to prepare yourself to watch and view. It is eerie, it is creepy, it is just soaked in vengeance for no reason, and misguided revenge, I would say, would be the plot. It is the pursuit to destroy one's life to make your life matter in some way. And it has its moments with good dialogue, and it has its moments, like I said, that are just super cringeworthy. Overall, Miller's Girl is very much in the vein of the Poison Ivies of the 90s. It is the seduction of an older man, a teacher, almost American Beauty style, by one of his students. And it goes down that rabbit hole of skin-crawling, creepy. You're not going to feel good watching it. You have to prep yourself. Overall, I gave this movie a popcorn and 1 beer. Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, I think a lot of the press for this movie was like, oh man, what a shame on this actor guy for taking this role where he does things with this younger woman, and it was a lot of like, you won't believe this scene that Jenna Ortega was in, for like trying to appeal to like all the creeps out there on the internet that just want to see a girl who just kind of naturally looks a little underage, like even in her grown age.
I think she's 22 years old or 23 years old.
Yeah. So that's what I know about this movie. I probably won't watch it, to be honest.
If you try to get through it, like you could try anyway. I gave it a popcorn and 1. It does have some very good dialogue. I will say that, like, because they are both writers in the movie, there is some very good dialogue. There is the use of vast vocabularies. It's decent in that way. The movie that we have for our butter on top will not be Terrifier 3. Jordan as he talks about his soapbox and stands on it and says, "If you're just here to watch people get torn apart, yeah, I hate you." He's very excited about Terrifier 3 being our butter on top. I think it's our first ever butter on top of this kind, and that leads to you, Jordan. You have our drunk classic.
Our drunk classic this week is going to be... I'm going to make you watch...
I don't like it that it starts with that.
I am going to make you watch... Sorry, I was kind of ready, but I wasn't ready for that. I thought we were going to talk about the butt on top a little more. All right, we are going to watch a movie called 13 Ghosts.
All right, fine.
With Matthew Lillard.
Also seen this.
Yeah. It is called 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. What's next, Jordan, in October? Ghosts on a ship?
No. That
One of
movie
these mother
sucks.
effing ghosts on the mother effing plane.
And look, 13 Ghosts is getting a TV series. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
We will when you get back from the Ohio State-Oregon game. But that's a story for another show. As always, we will see you at the movies. You get the popcorn, and we got the beer.